Yesterday, your problems belong to someone else. Yesterday, you said you couldn't do it all by yourself. Yesterday, you woke up and decided I won't go to work. I think my boss is hating me. He's such a jerk. Yesterday, you hit the boss up. You said I got nothing but some time. Yesterday, you said, hey man, I feel like...
Don't laugh. This is
You
going.
said nothing, and Sharon started laughing. You open your mouth yet.
Because he's stalling.
That's a fact.
No, I figured what I'll do is I'll start with sitting in the, on 212 Blackley Road, Bristol, Tennessee, where I'm from, and Mom telling me, sing so I know where you are, or telling me to shut up when I'm singing at the table, and quickly move from there to singing in the choir at Hood Memorial A with the Harden Singers, gospel. And then I'll go from there to the Utopians, which was a high school group that performed from the kids from a different school, and me and my cousin and Little Caesar, we did a Sam and Eve act. I think I told you that before. And then from there, we toured a little bit gospel. We toured a little bit with our band that we had in high school. Then we went from there. Me and my cousin went down to Tennessee State University, and we started a group called the New Tones. Great experience. Put one record out called One Side. That's when the 45s was going strong. I Love Is Destined to Be, and I'm Not Worthy of Your Love. Went into the service after graduating from Tennessee State University. Made it through Vietnam. Am I telling my age? Oh, that's all right. I think I look pretty good for my age.
Yeah, you go from 104 years old. That's all right.
So, and then I'm at the point where I come back and we start a group called the United Black Smoke, and moved on up into smoke because we got really good. Then I got recognized by a gentleman from Philly International scene by the name of Victor Kostaufen, and he got me involved with a project that I was going to be teaming up with David Beasley. And that's the first time I met David personally, who was the first tenor for the Ebonys at that time. And the project we started on, like I said before, didn't quite work out. However, you know, it must have been meant to be, because later on we got together. And from there, boy, it's rough trying to follow this timeline. So many things in between. From there, I went to, I think it was a group called Sound City. And I might have left that out in the last interview. As a group out of Camden. And just, I kind of did a solo act around and about until one day I got that call from Bees, and Bees asked me to would I like to take Booty Tootin's place, who had passed away, and he wanted to get the Ebonys back together. So I accepted the challenge because I really didn't think this thing was going to happen, because I didn't know Bees wanted anything to do with it anymore after he turned down the offer from Victor Kostofin. But anyway, we started rehearsal and we got the Ebonys rolling again. Picked up a few gigs here and there. To make a long story short, I think we sang for about a year or so. The group was comprised of David Beasley, Tony Calloway, Nate Cephas, Mackenzie, and myself. Mackenzie was in the background, like we said, singing with the band. And we had a six-piece band, I believe it was, that we started off with. And David got ill, became ill. He couldn't sing anymore, so we brought Mackenzie down. So now we're down with Mackenzie down front singing. And this is where the Ebonys started taking off to be what we are now. So David's in the picture, but he's out of the picture. He's can't sing, but we recognize that we wouldn't really be doing these things if it wasn't for him. So if he hadn't brought me in, but he can't perform anymore, so we recognize that. And where do I go from here? I wanna know. So we're at the first group, which is, like I said, it's Nate, Tony, and Mackenzie and myself. This is after Bees is no longer there. Then from there, we went to, oh, I know what it was. Tony, and who was the female vocalist at that time, decided that she was going to take the plunge and get married, and she didn't think she'd be able to do this anymore. So she wanted to get off the stage, so we had to find another female vocalist, which was Lorna Dixon. And with Lorna, I guess that's where we really started. I mean, we had some pretty strong singers. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that span with Lorna and Nate and Mackenzie and I, it was kind of special, part of the Ebony history. Now, I guess I was also saying that because at a certain point, you know, people's lives change. They have to make decisions on things. And like I said before, somebody's going to always come into your life to challenge you. And it's up to you, the way you accept these challenges. You can let them change you. You can get stronger behind them. How are you going to handle these? So one of the challenges that came in was Lorna decided to get married. So when you have beautiful women in your group, that's what happens. Somebody noticed them. And that's a good thing, because they always made us look good. Made the guys look good. So she decided she was going to get married. So now that brought in another element, her husband, which I guess this is where one of the, you know, to me, I try to make good I try to see the good in something before I see the bad, because I figure there's always some good somewhere around. So coming in, knowing he's going to be in the lives of the Ebonys, because his wife is there, I try to make him a part of it. And of course, he decided he wanted to take advantage of that and take over make a long story short, take over the managerial part, which he wasn't able to do, because he didn't know what it was all about. But you know how people are when they're on the outside looking in. They more or less think because you're doing it and And it looks easy to them because they didn't have to do all the little details and stuff in it. It looks easy to them. So he contacted, this is where controversy comes in. Because remember, Bees hadn't sang with us in a while. But he understood that Bees was a part of the Ebonys from the get-go. So he contacts Bees on his own and leases the name from Bees, thinking Bees owned the name. So then he comes and he says, well, my wife is going to have more of a leadership as far as singing, more of a lead singing group in the group because, that's what he wanted. Well, we understood that she was not a lead singer. She could sing background, she could sing parts, and it wouldn't take away from her and it wouldn't take away from the group. He didn't understand that because when he saw the group sing, the harmony was there, the stage presence was there, and everything was clicking. But here's where the little nastiness comes in this business. He goes behind my back, who's already running stuff, me and Nate, and things are going smooth, we're getting gigs, we're doing this, and he decides that he wants to talk to Bees. So Bees, instead of being honest about it and calling myself and Nate and saying, look, I have this guy that wants to lease the name, or what do you guys think? He just gave it to him. Then all of a sudden, he asked me, said he was forming a group that he owned, and he asked me to be the lead singer, and I said, no, I'm out. So that's when Nate and I really parted ways with the Ebonys, and that was only going to be for about probably less than a year because I knew it wasn't going to last because he didn't know what he was doing. And during that period, though, I met some people in the industry, and you meet good people, and you meet people that don't know what they're doing, and then you meet the people that know what they're doing, and they just nasty. But I met some good people, and it kind of redirected my career. And so I started doing a solo thing, recording solo thing. And at that period also, short period of time, I was able to travel to Europe doing my solo act. And in the meantime, the new so-called owner of the Ebonys, who really didn't own the Ebonys because nobody owned the name, was doing their thing, and it wasn't going very well. Getting some bad reputations from people going out as the Ebonys, but not representing in a positive way. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to call any names. And to tell you the truth, I really don't remember all the names because it didn't mean anything to me at that time. So anyway, when I got back from Europe, and it was pretty successful. I had and I think I mentioned before, I had a song called That's What Love Does, written by Vince Montana, that was really hot on the charts over there. And I was asked to come back and do, actually I did 2 tours over there, short tours. And when I got back though, I found out that people were using my name, my likeness, to sell the product called the Ebonys. So when we found out, me and my wife found out that this was happening and it was negative towards my name, we decided we'd do some history, do some research on what was going on. So we did find out, to make a long story short again, we found out that actually no one owned the name the Ebonys. And that's how we really got our hands on the name the Ebonys. Now, I did talk to Bees on the telephone. I called Bees on the telephone because I'm not going to do what other people do. I mean, it was done to me, but I'm like this. If you don't want anybody doing you wrong, you shouldn't do others wrong. And although they do things that you might not like, you don't know the cause and effect of why they did that. I don't try to play games and try to judge people. So I called and I asked Bees about him being a part of what I had. Well, that didn't go very well. We tried to set up meetings. We set up a couple of meetings, I think 2 or 3 meetings, and each meeting he would never show up because I wanted to sit down personally and talk one-on-one with Bees about, I'm talking about David Beasley, about his being a part of an organization that I owned now, the Ebonys, because I did the legal work. Me and my wife, we did the legal work to claim ownership. He was upset, very upset, and I say rightly so, because he thought that was his baby, but he didn't take care of his baby very well. And when I asked him, I said, well, and this is what gets me. To tell you the truth, what gets me, and I don't feel no kind of way, no negative way about him. I just don't understand why you would do this. I said, David, do you understand that people are out there using my name in a negative fashion? Well, what it came down to was, that's not his problem. Now, when you tell me that means you don't really care anything about me. You just want what you want, and the residuals that falls on other people is on them. And I'm not like that, so I'm not going to get into that. So basically what it came down to, at this point, I own the name, the Ebonys. I put together the group. We worked, coming after I came back, that the so-called Ebonys that wasn't really the Ebonys broke up. There's a group of people over here calling themselves the Ebonys that David Beasley was leasing the name to, and a group over here called the Ebonys that David Beasley was leasing the name to. And I had to more or less go into a legal battle to shut some of the venues down that they were doing in order to stop them from misusing the name the Ebonys. Hard battle. And there's still a few out there, including David himself. At this point, and the last I knew was David Beasley had put together a group called David Beasley and the Fabulous Ebonys. Still not legal. I did have a meeting, and I'm not going to call any names. I did have a meeting with some people that know David. I explained to them, I have no harsh feelings against David. I don't understand why he does things like he does, why he won't sit down and have breakfast or lunch with me and talk so we can straighten this out, because one of the best things in the world that could happen is for David and I to get together. All across the industry, and I'm out here dealing with things, and I know I can bring his name back up, and I can bring the Ebonys name back up even further. But when people have a mindset that you stole something from me, or that you just want to do me wrong, which is not mine. All I did was what he should have done, and that was make it legit. And right now, I'm at the point where I have a pretty stable group. The faces have changed, the names have changed. I lost my buddy Mackenzie, who was our first tenor, which I told you took David's place, and we sang together for about 10 years. I lost him about 3 years ago now. But I was blessed for him to bring Ken Chaney into the group before he passed away. And it was not long, because I remember going to see him do some Tower Power stuff at an event in Philly. And he was just getting weaker and weaker. And I know he has sickle cell, which is, I can understand, because that touches my heart personally, because my granddaughter has sickle cell. And so he lost the battle with that. And Ken is he's not your typical first tenor, but he works hard and he does the job, and very professional. And then I lost out of the group to a physical thing with him, Nate, my one of my best friends, and been with him for years and years, not even in different groups that I forgot that I even had. I forgot that he and I had a group together too before. But it's a music study. I mean, he just knows music, and still today he helps me out. He might come to a rehearsal and help us out with the harmonies and so forth. But Nate had to stop singing because of a physical thing, a health thing. So I brought in a gentleman named Ray Kinnenbrew. And Ray is from the Trenton area, but lives in Willingboro, Jersey. And he's been with us now, I guess it's close to a year. Might not be a year yet, but it's close to a year. So he's the second tenor. And he does very positive. He manages his own cover group called Once Again. I hope I got it right, Ray. And that comprises the males in the group. Now, the new female singer that I got is Geneva Wilkes. I got her through a recommendation from a friend of mine, Big Walt, who recommended that I go see this young lady perform. Actually, she was performing with him. And I said, wow, impressive. And not only that, if you look at the old pictures of the Ebonys, which we're doing an evolution, by the way, we're doing an evolution thing on the Ebonys, all the way from everybody involved with the Ebonys. They don't have to be my best friend. I don't even have to sing with them. But everybody involved with the Ebonys, we're doing an evolution thing on them. And we're gonna have t-shirts and all the whole 9 yards. But she, if you look at her, she looks like a little like Jenny. So now, you got me, who people still think sometimes I'm booty. I don't know why, but that's cool. Because I think I met him maybe once, but we've definitely never had any type of a relationship as far as that's concerned. And I know Nate had the same demeanors and so forth, laid back, as Clarence Vaughn. First tenor, you're not gonna find anybody like Bees. Cause I'm gonna tell you, Bees, to me, was one of the top first tenors, in the industry. And I've said it before, I say it again. In his day when he was doing his thing, couldn't touch him. Cause his thing was his thing, that smooth first tenor, great. But, so we have Ray Kinnenbrew, Ken Chaney, Geneva Wilkes, and myself. And we do more track gigs now because the promoters just aren't doing their thing like they used to. Now, we did just finish doing a gig in Washington, D.C., and we were blessed to be able to use our 5-piece band, do it live, because I love doing live gigs. I like that touchy-feely type thing. I like to be able to walk out from the stage, sit down at the table, sing to those beautiful young ladies, and I'll explain it to my wife later. But also, I like to just mingle with the crowd. And that gives us a different look from all the other groups, because we can do the stage performance and the doo-wop thing and the hand movement and all that stuff, but we also get out there and do our thing with the audience. And it electrifies things because they feel like they're a part of it. This is the new Ebonys thing. We also, if you listen to us, we're getting into a different type of harmony. Now, the old Ebonys, beautiful harmony, that sweet, old, classy harmony type. But now we're doing that, and we're sticking some of that Boys to Men stuff in there, that crazy sounding harmony that Nate comes up with, or Ken comes up with, or I tell him to invent something. I can give, for example, where we are today. The last song we put out was "What Did You Do Today?" Now, you've heard we have an old school version and a new school version. I told Ken, I said, Ken, we got to do something with this. What do you mean? I said, let's throw some Boys to Men harmony or something, Take 6 harmony or something in there. Can we do that? I don't know, man. So he has his little studio that he goes in and works around. So he goes in his studio and comes back out, and we got the new school version with that different kind of harmony. And then from there, when we put that in, we did a video using the new school version on a video all around Philadelphia, letting people know that the Ebonys are back in town. If you want us, here we are. If not, then we'll be in Washington, D.C. We'll be in Chicago. We'll be in New York. But we're here because this is home. So the latest thing we got out is What Did You Do Today? And the video is hot. And we're working on a new album that's going to have some of the sweet old stuff in it. It's going to have some new harmony type. It's going to have some fast stuff. It's going to have some slow stuff. It's going to have some gospel sounding stuff. I'm telling you, and I can't wait for this because this is going to be off the charts, man. We're putting some harmonies in it. I mean, we're bringing it straight from church all the way to the street. Everybody can get a part of this. I mean, everybody can get a part of this. So that's where we are today, and I'm happy. And my door is always open for anybody. I hope I haven't done anybody wrong. Not meaningful. I wouldn't do it on purpose. If you think I have, sit down with me and talk to me. Promoters, you're welcome to call. Anybody I've touched along the way, had conversation along the way, my telephone number does not change. You can go on the website, theebonys.com, www.theebonys.com. That's our official website. You can go on there and contact us anytime you want to. I have someone that works the website all the time, Anthony Pastor. He works it all the time. And he's a local promoter too. So, and the reason why he's with me is because he's an honest person. I like working with people I can deal with. I don't like looking over my shoulder, and I'm not, and you know, as long as I am blessed, and I've been blessed along the way to be for good, positive people to come into my life, I'm going to treat you the same way, just the way I want to be treated. And if I can feel good about something by making you feel good about something, it makes my day. So once again, I say, what did you do today to make somebody else's life a little better?